Welcome, everybody. It is Sunday, October 31st, 2021, Halloween, and we are starting the Q&A section of our weekly Morgellons call. So questions, comments, we are going to open lines for discussion, and we're going to do that now. Okay, here we go.
In Richard's book, one lady mentioned the substance that she called rufenol, and I was wondering about this rufenol for a while, not able to find it anywhere. I was Googling it, and rufenol was still a mystery to me, and then I went to Etsy, and
I'm sorry. Are you talking about lufeneron?
No, rufenol for washing eyes. That's a substance.
It's an eye wash.
Oh, for washing the eyes? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this
rufenol. Okay, gotcha. Rufenol. Yes.
It was mentioned just like a rufenol substance, and I was wondering what is it, and I finally found that it's two different herbs. One is called rue, and another is called fennel seed. Yeah, and it's possible. The only place to find it, as I found out, is on Etsy. So I ordered this rue herb, fennel herb separately, and I boiled them very fast in water for less than 5 minutes, strained them with a paper towel, and had a good progress with my eyes. It really does work, even though it's a little bit of challenge to buy it. Yeah, that's
so you found that you made the rufenol as a solution, a tea, and used it in your eyes?
Yes, this rufenol stuff that lady mentioned in the book, it's two separate herbs.
Yeah.
And so it's a root.
Right, you mix them together.
Yeah, you mix them together and you boil them for less than 5 minutes for a very short boil, and they make a nice solution, and you strain it with a paper towel, and it makes a nice wash for eyelids. Parasites.
Okay, great.
Like that. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Did you use that with an eye wash? You put it in an eye wash and do it that way?
I actually dip Q-tips in it and rub it over my eyelids.
Oh, okay, over your eyelids. Okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah, this is very good. I really recommend.
Good, thanks for sharing. I've learned about the rufenol years ago, but very few people have actually shared about how it worked. Thank you, Anna. Okay, who's next?
Yes, my name is Brandon. This is my first time on the call.
Welcome.
I'm just curious.
Welcome.
So, I'm just curious with having more, possibly Morgellons, and from what I've heard or been told by a doctor or some lady, that possibly 2 parasites and a fungus as well. How do you kind of decide, or how do I know where to draw my focus is where I'm kind of stuck right now, because this is a bit overwhelming.
It is overwhelming, and the first step for you will be to complete the questionnaire and send it in. Basically, we assume that everybody is impacted with internal parasites. So the protocol includes 3 things to do for internal parasites that are compatible with the diet: diatomaceous earth, consuming our mouthwash, and fenbendazole. We assume that, we know basically 90% of the people who are dealing with Morgellons are also dealing with fungal issues, internal.
Okay.
So we, part of that protocol are 3 things for fungal issues. One is lufeneron, which is a medication obtained from Mexico, actually shipped to you from Texas. Secondly, we have calcium depletes, which is antinucleic acid to inhibit the production of the hyphae, which is like the root structure of the fungal organism. And the third thing we use is kinase enzymes, and the building blocks of all fungal organisms is chitin, and the enzymes go through your system and your body, and they break up any chitin it finds anywhere. This also, when we're talking about Morgellons, we know we're also dealing with biofilm, and this substance also breaks up biofilm. So it's a 2-for-1 on this particular supplement. We know that automatically with Morgellons that the gut biome has been disturbed and is out of balance. So we look at natural sugar like L-glutamine that I mentioned in the first part to feed the mucosa, because when the mucosa are weak, we have leaky gut syndrome, which gets all kinds of stuff into your bloodstream that you don't want. So we want to strengthen the mucosa. We look at part of it is a product we call Ion. It's soil-based minerals to build the gut biome. We look at digestive enzymes that are going to help with digestion, and we look at what's the last thing?
MaxOne.
Well, that's the fundamental thing in the beginning for Lyme and so we're looking at prebiotics. That is through eating the right foods, and the prebiotics are because Columbella or springtails is part of 90% of the people who are dealing with Morgellons. We have to stay away from probiotics because they feed springtails. So we go further up the chain and we focus on prebiotics, and they are raw foods like onions and leeks, and eating raw garlic whenever you can. So when we look at Morgellons, we look at the total picture. We just don't look at, the bottom line is, I saw this the other day on Facebook, Borax. I took Borax for 8 months and I got rid of Morgellons. Okay? Borax is boron, and that is part of our protocol as well, taking boron. But I wouldn't sit back and say, okay, if I take boron, that's not going to solve fungal issues. You see, if you only have Morgellons and the rest of your body hasn't been screwed up because of it or because of your past eating habits, well then boron, that's it. That's the antidote. But most of us, we have internal parasites. Once we get affected by Morgellons and our teeth start falling out, I mean, you don't get to that point, but before this happens, but fungal issues start occurring and ramping up. So we want to take a look at everything. We just don't want to say, okay, take boron, that's going to fix you.
Yeah. Well, the reason I ask is because I was out of work since April, and I was dealing with the regular primary care, and let alone, obviously, they're not going to, as we know, they're going to probably just give me medicine and say it's in my head. Well, I went to this place where a different doctor, Advanced Health, and they did something completely different. It's like, I can't remember what they call it, but they took jars with stuff in it and tested to see if my body reacted to it. And this lady pretty much told me that I have Lyme disease, 2 parasites, and a fungus, and then she brought up the Morgellons. And I'm wondering, and then when I did your questionnaire, y'all were pretty close except for a few things, and I just don't know what to do. I've been, this is new to me. I really started having issues in April, and I've lost my job because of it. It caused, problem with, I got married in July. It was really just tough. So I'm kind of lost.
Well, to tell you the truth, it's a pig in a poke. I don't know whether what she does is going to be compatible with what we do. If what she does is compatible with what we do, great, it's fine. But Nick, one of our coaches. Nick, can we open up Nick's line and he share what he did? He joined our program way back in March and went a different route, as thinking it would help him, and it cost him $10,000 and made him worse.
And while they're opening Nick's line, can I say something? I think I'm frozen. Can you hear me, Richard?
Sure. Yes, I can hear you.
I've had a lot of people who went to holistic healthcare people and got protocols, and one of them, I think that it would have killed her. I finally got her to stop because her whole body was swelling up, all this stuff was happening. I said, these things are not helping you. You're going through a too intense detox, and you need to just stop. And she did, and within 2 weeks, she was like 90% better. So, you know, you got to pick what you're going to try, and we know that if you get the diet right and do these protocols, it's going to work. We can't say about other things, but a lot of them don't work.
I guess I asked is because I had went to that doctor before I found this, and I've been, you know, I'm kind of in the air. I really have a lot of questions, but I don't want to take up the whole time, so I didn't know if
Well, we have at the end of the call, you can get contact numbers for free coaches, and you can have much longer conversations.
Okay.
So I would also consider doing that. Like, I'm one of the free coaches.
Well, you know, we can open a line to somebody else with a question, and sometimes we end up running out of questions pretty quickly, so we can keep your last 4 digits and come back to you later, and you can ask more questions. Okay?
Okay. Yes, thank you.
So, yeah, now, you know, I'm not here to tell you not to go to doctors. You know, I get tarred and feathered. In fact, actually, I'm supposed to tell you to go find a doctor at LLMD, Lyme Literate Medical Doctor, and that is associated with the Charles Holman Foundation, and get treatment, which is basically antibiotics and some, you know, they're mixing in some other things now. And I went through that route, and I was on cloud 9 for a long time until after I went off of them, then all hell broke loose again. So, in fact, their own research says that antibiotics are not the answer. It's sort of like a crutch, basically. You're going to feel good, but long-term antibiotics bring about a whole host of health problems. I've run across people that have been on them for so long that their gut is totally destroyed. They can't eat anything. What they can eat is very limited, totally very limited, because the antibiotics have totally destroyed them. So we don't use antibiotics. We do use Garcillin, which is a natural antibiotic, antiparasitic. If you go to Wikipedia and look it up, it will tell you that. It's a natural antibiotic, antiparasitic, and antiviral. We do focus on Lyme disease. And I didn't mention that part. I talked about what we do with Morgellons, but when we're looking at the basic package, we boost glutathione, we use Acillin. This is all the Lyme package. You don't need the whole Morgellons package if you're only dealing with Lyme disease. And again, we're not here to treat, cure, or mitigate any disease. We're here to educate you as to what supplements there are to build your health and immune functioning. And oftentimes when you use these 4 supplements, boosting the glutathione, the Garcillin, the natural antibiotic, boosting your minerals through our ionic minerals and our multivitamin that is designed for Lyme disease. You don't need treatment for Lyme disease. You don't need it. And many co-infections with Lyme disease are often typical in everybody, but they only become factors when the spirochete goes crazy and takes over. So oftentimes, just building health and immune functioning, you may find that treatment is unnecessary. Or if you do treatment, that it's going to make the treatment faster. And Robin mentioned earlier, detox. Now, detox is something you always want to be aware of and prepared for, because if you're using any of the supplements that I recommended, such as the Garcellin and the MaxOne, they can detox you. And when you get detoxed, all kinds of things. You get headachy, you get depressed, you get pains, nauseousness, you get inflammation, and they can be serious. So this is where we recommend looking into zeolite. You go to Amazon and you buy some zeolite, and you take it to basically absorb the toxins as they are released, or you use our digestive enzymes and our complete amino acid formula, which has been out of stock for 3 months. Hopefully they're going to be shipping this on Monday, but we'll see. So there are different ways of dealing with detox other than just stopping everything. Because sometimes if you just stop everything, particularly when you're dealing with Lyme disease, it just gives the spirochete an opportunity to morph into another form, so that when you resume the medical treatment, it's not going to be impactful anymore. It's not going to help get rid of the Lyme disease, because it just went and hid somewhere else. Lyme disease has, I believe, according to our Dr. Seuss, 4 different forms that it can morph into. And when you catch it in one, you want to get rid of it and destroy it, and you don't want to give it an opportunity to morph into another form. Okay, any other questions? You can come back and ask some other questions later on.
Nick, you could go, Nick.
Nick, you want to share your experience of what you did after you got into the program with an alternative guy?
Well, the beginning was tough because I was, the same thing like everybody else. I was confused. I didn't know what was going on. So I wanted an answer, like, running down, like you say, a rabbit hole. Running down rabbit holes and constantly looking for answers. So I went to this guy in Florida, like you were saying, he's a well-known healer and stuff like that, but the problem was he did not know too much about this disease, and I wound up spending $10,000, and it was just I had to abandon his protocols because he didn't experience it, and it's just a shame I went through that, but me and I guess I don't know about other people, but I'm very hard-headed, and I didn't want to listen to you. If I would have listened to you, I probably would have saved a lot more money and been on my way. And now, today, I'm out of it. I mean, I listen to your protocols, and I'm out of it. I could eat what I want in moderation, and I'm doing great. If this it works. Somebody's got to experience this and able to understand it. If they haven't experienced it, I don't care. Doctor,
that's very true. And this doctor that you went to, he had somewhat convinced you that he could help you, that he basically knew what he was doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He didn't know what he was doing. He did not know what he was doing, and he put me on supplements that made it worse. That actually made it worse. Made it worse and made the parasites breed even more. So then he brings you more confusion because then it's saying, hey, what's going on here,
Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing. That's very valuable information. And as you said, he hadn't experienced it himself, okay? And I think that's kind of important because I'm rather unique. I am not the doctor I'm not a doctor, period, but I'm not the researcher sitting with some microscope studying these things and studying the filaments and fibers and analyzing them and telling you that through my findings they're made of collagen and keratin. I'm not there. I suffered. I suffered with springtails. I suffered with skin fungus. I suffered with Morgellons. I suffered with Lyme disease that almost destroyed my life and took it from me. I suffered from Strongyloides cervicalis. I've been there. I've done it. And I'm free. So, who's next?
I'm here. This is Crystal.
Hi, Crystal. Welcome. You're new to
Hello.
the program, right?
Yes. I actually just got your emails a few minutes ago. Appreciate that.
Yes, your protocol, right?
Yeah. So, and that was my initial question.
So what would you like to ask?
My initial question was just that I was overwhelmed and I didn't know what to do first so that I wasn't reinfesting.
Right.
But now I'll read that again and go through that. And I got to finish the book too. I'm about halfway through.
Yeah. Number 1, chapter 4. Read that.
Yeah.
The diet, make it work. So number 1 focus is to go to the store, get everything that you're going to eat and make sure that is compatible with the diet. The foods that you have in your refrigerator, your cupboard, well, I don't know, you can put them away later on when you get to stage 2 or stage 3, but put them in the back. You're not going to eat those for a while, so it's very limited. And then chapter 3, about disinfecting your environment, your laundry, your bedding, your clothing, everything, your automobile. It's 55 pages. It's a lot to read, a lot to take in.
Yeah.
And then if you've ordered the debriding soap, that'll be arriving in a few days. But in the meantime, use hot water. See, I got my life back long before we had our debriding soap. This incredible, miraculous stuff. It's amazing. But I did it with scalding hot water 3 times a day. And I just kept that water hot. If it started getting warm, I'd open up that hot water and have it pour in and keep that hot water. You have to be careful. You could get dehydrated and faint getting out of the tub with that. But that's what was important for me to do. Put in some disinfectant. So it was no fun taking a bath. It was hot and uncomfortable. Today, with the debriding soap, warm water, comfortable water, and do that 3 times a day. The goal is to do it as often a day as you need so that you can get from one bath to the next bath with relatively little discomfort. And there comes a little pen sprayer. It tells you how many drops of the concentrate to put in with the water. You shake it up. You take that with you during the day. It's like a pen, and if you feel something on your elbow, you take it out and you spray. If you feel it on the back of your neck, you take it out and you spray. And you can massage it in if you like. That should get you through from one bath to the next. And day after day, you'll go from 3 baths a day to 2 baths a day. Of course, after every bath, you shower. Clean that stuff that has been extracted from your skin. Now, a good way to determine whether or not you're dealing with Morgellons or not is that after you take the bath, you're going to have a dirty bathtub. Going to be a lot of debris. That's an indication that it's Morgellons. If you're only dealing with springtails or mites, I doubt that you're going to see much around the bathtub. Very little, if any, debris whatsoever. So that's a pretty good way of figuring out whether you're dealing with Morgellons. And so you do that, and eventually after a couple of weeks, if you're strict with the diet and you're effective at disinfecting your environment, it's overwhelming, but it's like a new job, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and you're worth it, and you're going to get your life back, as hundreds, if not thousands, of people have already done with this program.
Okay.
So keep coming back. One of the important things, out of 6,000, 7,000 people on our mailing list, there are only about maybe 30 or 40, sometimes 70 that come to this call. So there's plenty of opportunity for you to come ask questions. Robin can share with you this call is what was instrumental in her getting her life back.
listening to Crystal, what a beautiful, intelligent lady. I want to encourage her to stick strictly to the diet and anyone that is on it, because after 20 years, in just a couple of months, I'm on the diet, the third portion of the diet, and it's working wonderfully for me. So I just want to encourage everyone to stick to the diet. That's all I can say, and I'm very grateful for this program.
Nice.
So after 20 years of trying everything, you finally found something that works.
Yes. Yes, the diet works.
That's great.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not easy, is it? Or was it easy for you? Was it easy or was it not easy?
Oh, it was easy because I was motivated. After 20 years of pain and suffering, and doing the diet, doing an eliminating diet for myself, and then finding that the worst part of the diet was the oils, that I was using olive oil and coconut oil, and finding that those were no-nos. As soon as I stopped using those and was very strict, and little by little I add one thing or another to see if that's going to affect me, and I back off if there's any types of effects, because I know every body is different in some ways. However, we can't cheat on this diet and expect it to work. So even though it was maybe a difficult diet, my health is much more important than my taste buds.
Well said.
Thank you. That's a great way of putting it. Thank you.
Okay, so the diet is great. So I just want to talk about the diet for a minute. And I've been on the diet, trying to do it as best as I can. But what I noticed already, and for months now, is that I'm feeling so good. I'm almost back to normal. And if I slip and eat something that I shouldn't, then I can start feeling the crawly, and then I know that, okay, I can't have this right now. So I encourage every single person to just do the diet and clean. I use the sprayer in my house, in my car, and I soak my clothes in ammonia. And I just want to thank you guys for the advice, and it's helping, because I really feel great, and I want to thank you.
That's great.
Thank you, Gwen. Thank you. Keep coming back. What we're finding here, notice what Gwen shared, cause and effect. Cause and effect. Now, when you first start this program and when you first start the diet, you really can't see cause and effect, because it's all effect. It's all, you've been eating the wrong stuff, and the effect is the same, that you're itching and biting and growing crazy and waking up at 3 a.m. and changing sheets and jumping in the bathtub or doing whatever you can for some kind of relief and rubbing neem oil all over you. There's no cause and effect. It's all effect. When you get the diet to start kicking in, wow, you get a night's sleep, the itching, the biting just kind of diminishes dramatically, maybe a little crawling. It's a new world. And when you mess up and you have something that's not on the diet or is a problem for you, that's the cause, and the effect is you're going to feel it. It's going to be itching. So it's a system. They tell you what they like and what they don't like. and once you get the diet to kick in, you're on your way home, because it's all cause and effect from then on. You got it. You got it by the tail. Thank you. Anyone else, Chris?
Tony.
Oh, hi. Hi, Chris. Hi, Rob. Richard. Hi, Robin.
Hi.
Hi. I purchased the Ozone generator and got it this week and tried it like 3 nights now. Run it in rooms where I'm not going to be for a while. that seemed to really help. But those little bugs, they keep coming back. So I get some relief for a while, but then I see them flying around, and I've been cleaning with enzyme cleaners, spraying that a couple of times a day. Do you recommend doing them both? Now that
Absolutely, absolutely.
So like half the day I'll use the ozone generator, and then when I'm in the room, use the enzyme electrostatic sprayer.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Be aggressive. Go after those bastards and get them. Use as much as you can, as often as you can. It's important to overwhelm them rather than let them overwhelm you.
Yeah, they seem to get desperate now. So it feels good to be able to knock them down for a while. It didn't seem like the enzyme cleaner and electrostatic sprayer would do it very well. So I'm happy with the ozone generator. Thank you for having me. I had a problem with the timer. At first. I thought I was only going to run it for 30 minutes a couple of times, and it said it was off for 30 minutes and ran for 8 hours. So I think I shocked them the first night. It took a long time to air it out.
Yeah, it's on for 30 minutes, off for an hour, on for 30, off for an hour, on for 30, and then off. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you for.
Confused.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, you're making progress. Go get these bastards. Get them with the electrostatic sprayer several times a day if you need to. It's like taking a bath. You do it as often as you need to diminish the activity, and then as time goes on, it's got to be less and less. But go after them.
One thing I wanted to know with the glutathione, if you can get by with taking just one a day, because it says you should take 2 a day.
Well, it's up to each individual. The bottom line is, some people need more than others. It's interesting that you should ask that question because I had started experimenting. I take 2 a day as my maintenance, and I was just taking them in the morning, and I noticed that my knees are a little more achy, so I'm back up to 2 a day.
Oh, okay.
So you just have to see what works for you. The important thing is to notice that 2 capsules a day will boost your glutathione levels by around 270%, 270%, which is incredible. So, and if you buy the glutathione supplements in the pharmacy, they're only going to boost you about 30%. That's all, 30%. So that means you'd have to take about 10, 15 times as many to get the equivalent. Plus, they also have ingredients that are not compatible with the diet. So, you're out a lot of money and you're going to be feeding the parasites. So it's incredible that if you just take 1 capsule a day, you're boosting your glutathione by 135%, which is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
So, but some people need to take more. I find I need to take 2 a day.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay, and
I just want to interrupt for a second because Richard, didn't you take like 6 a day at one point when you were fighting Lyme?
Oh well, it happened to me when I was in Hawaii on vacation. I got up and I strained the muscle in my knee, or I forget where it was in my leg, and I just happened to have a whole bottle of glutathione with me, and I know from past experience that when I do something like that, it was going to take 2 weeks for my walking to get normal again. And hey, I'm in Hawaii, I don't want that happening. So I went up to 8 or 9 a day, and within about 24 hours, I was walking normally again. So injury, radiation, pollution, Tylenol, acetaminophen, these things deplete the body of glutathione, and it's important to boost it, get it back up there. And we are so lucky to have the MaxOne product. I did happen upon another product 2 weeks ago. I forget the name of it, There's no need to remember the name of it. I looked at it. The ingredients were perfect. What it did was perfect, but it was $130 for a month's supply compared to our MaxOne product, which is like $75 for a month's supply.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Hi, this is Deborah from Kauai.
Hi.
Hi. I just moved here. I had to get away from, I just wanted to share what's been helping me was I've had problems with the diet. I know you said if you're going to do it, you do the diet. And I know it works because I've done it and I've gotten a little bit better. And then I've slid back. And I'll say it, one word is a problem, and that's addiction. So that causes me a huge problem when I lose my job. I lose everything. I lose my friends. I lose my home. And my kids go live with their dad and stuff. So anyways, I keep going on these spiritual journeys to help my spirit because this has killed my spirit. And if I can't, I have to work on that first. And this is coming from the heart. I had to work so hard on my spirit in order to get better from the Morgellons and the Lyme that I've been dealing with for 5 years. And I start to get better because I feel better about life. And then I slide back because I get depressed and all that. Maybe it's the, the detox of everything. So my spiritual journey led me to Kauai. I'm living in a tent. I go to the beach. I swim and tumble in the waves. And that helps so much with my sinuses and my eyes and everything. I do that every day. I have a job here. My kids will be out here in December. And I'm just saying, if you are suffering, and I was suffering from my spiritual part. And until I dealt with that, I couldn't even begin to get better. Maybe for a few days I'd do the diet, and I'd feel like 100% better. And then I felt like maybe I could damage myself or something. I don't know. I don't know what my problem was. I can't run away from myself, but I ran away. I'm so tired of cleaning. I cleaned every place because I lost my house for some reason. Wherever I landed, as my son said, it's like I worked so hard, cleaning, pulling up carpets, ammonia, everything you can think of, just 24/7. I couldn't focus on anything else, just because I knew I had to get everything clean for myself, and not so much for the people, that let me come stay in their house and paint it and clean it and all of that. But yeah, it helped a lot. But the diet was number one. Whenever I could focus on that completely and not slide into my addiction problem, alcohol, which is full of sugar. Even now, I'm dealing with that.
It is a challenge.
I've been here for 6 weeks. About 6 weeks. And I stand in the sun every morning. I just sweat. You wouldn't believe what comes out of my skin. You said you use hot baths. Just sweating. It's 80 degrees, but I sweat a lot, and I sweat a lot just cleaning. I
want to thank you for. I want to thank you for sharing because what you're sharing is very important. We have this mental aspect that goes on, and when we get down and we get depressed, we're far more likely to go back to something like alcohol that is going to feed these organisms. And I don't know if you are aware or if you've taken advantage of them. There are 2 videos that I have up. One is Overcome Depression, and depression is a part of all of us. I mean, I'd be a liar if I said I never got depressed. I'd be a liar if I said I never was almost destroyed by depression. I mean, we all go through it. And there are ways that you can really get through it faster than having to turn to something like alcohol that will only cause more problems. And one of them is simply, I mean, like, okay, well, it is simple. Is to let yourself feel depressed. Like, I'm depressed. I don't feel like doing any damn thing. I don't feel like talking to anybody. I don't feel like doing anything. I don't feel like anything. I feel terrible. I'm depressed. And I don't like it. I hate it. And you know what? What's your choice? What is your choice? If you're depressed, what the hell is your choice? You're either going to feel it or you're going to drown it. That's your choice. You're either going to feel it or you're going to drown it. It's your choice. So I'm down, I'm out, I feel crummy, bleak. I prefer to feel it. All right, I'm feeling it. I don't like it, but that's where I am. I'm feeling it. It's terrible. I feel yucky. I feel terrible. I hate it. Now, you've got to remember, your brain is a powerful computer. Now, opportunity. Program that beautiful brain. So I don't like it because it feels terrible. Nobody wants to be around me. So you can, okay, so get all those reasons from your brain why you don't like being depressed. There's no hope. All right. So, and I'm useless. I'm hopeless. Whatever. Thank you, intelligence. Thanks for your opinion. I prefer you, my creative brain. That's it. Creativity. To move beyond, see it differently, learn from it, and get my life back. So that's the important part. These are preference statements. I prefer you might, it's not you must, my creative brain, you got to. It's not that I got to, I prefer. Your brain doesn't like to be commanded in a sense of dire or do or die kind of thing. I prefer you, my creative brain, to figure out a way to deal with it, to learn from it, to profit by it, to benefit by it, and move beyond and get my life back. So that is what is important to do, and when you do that, you will move through depression. And if you have something like, I had a photograph of a 3-year-old niece. She was adopted, beautiful Chinese little girl, and I would just ground myself by looking at that photograph, if I had to. So,
okay.
The choice is either drown it, or feel it. That's your choice. Remember that. My choice is drown it or feel it. Yes, Robin.
Wow, that was empowering. Thank you.
I also want to say, I'm sure you didn't mean it this way, but you can't do one thing at a time. You need to focus on your spirituality and you need to feed your soul, but you can't neglect the diet and wait till your soul is fed. It kind of is, you make a schedule. Maybe in the morning you get up and you journal and you meditate and you take a walk and you pray and you say affirmations, and then you go home, and it's not so much cleaning as it's disinfecting. It's not so much cleaning as exterminating, because there are mites and springtails that are actual insects that carry Morgellons. So you come up with a plan where you can do a little bit each day while you are confessing your affirmations and saying your prayers and talking to your brain and your soul and saying, soul, this is what we're going to do today, and this is how we're going to feel. But you can't just do one thing and then wait and expect everything else will totally fall in line. It makes it a lot easier if you can get yourself spiritually on track, because you're empowered. But you can't, it's a process where you're doing, it's like Richard describes driving a car with 4 clutches. It kind of has to happen all at once. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Thank you.
Can I say one more thing? This is Deborah again.
Take advantage of the program.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, take advantage of the Up From Depression program on YouTube. What?
Oh, yeah. I do, like what Robin said, I go in the water as soon as I'm feeling, because I'm right on the water here, I just go right in the water and I float, even though there's waves and stuff. And I feel like this island just holds me and cradles me. And I do my prayers as I float.
That's
and
wonderful.
I get my head all straight that way. So I am getting my life back, but I'm not doing it all at once. So I'm trying to get my spiritual,
well, when I say do it all at once,
and I think you're right.
It's not doing it all at once. It's coming up with a plan where you do a little bit each day, in addition to spirituality.
This is going to help because I'm working again.
Good.
I'm getting my life back, and I know what I have to do because I've been listening to this conference call helpline for, and it's been my lifeline. I'm a sailor, so it's been my lifeline. It's the only thing that's kept me holding on, and I'm going to do it. So thank you.
Yeah.
Keep coming back. You know, there's also a program that's free on YouTube. It's called The Inner World of Tranquility. The link to it is in these updates that go out. And I guarantee you, if you sit down and listen to that mindset when you get up from it. So take advantage of those other resources.
I want to say one other thing.
Mindset, how do I find out?
The Inner World of Tranquility on YouTube. But I wanted to say one other thing. You know, our brains, it's really interesting. As a musician, and this is true of athletes, your brain can't tell when you're actually doing something or when you're just thinking about it. So like as a guitar teacher, when I have students who can't practice, I tell them to just sit and practice in their head. And when they actually get to a guitar again, they're better because their brain can't tell the difference. So if you can't clean your house or disinfect, you can do it in your brain. You can imagine the steps you're going to go through, and you can, and it's going to give you the peace that actually doing it will do. It'll energize you the same way. It's kind of cool. But yeah.
There was a study. There was a study done many years ago where they did this with boys on a basketball court. They had them practice shooting, and then they had another group of boys just sitting around imagining that they were shooting. And they found that the boys that were sitting around imagining that they were shooting as good as the boys who were practicing shooting.
Right.
Phenomenal.
So, you know, if you're overwhelmed about tackling your house, come up with a plan and think it through every day. Walk through those steps, and then all of a sudden, it's going to be cake.
Yeah, journaling is a great tool.
I never thought to do that because I'm an athlete, and that's the only thing that saved me from addictions, my athletic ability. I was captain of a basketball team in my high school. I was voted in, and I'm short. I'm not tall. But I can
I'm not saying not to do
things.
I'm just saying
I could do every sport because I think about it when I go to sleep. I never thought about getting rid of
very
my other
powerful
problem that way.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Keep coming back. Who else would like to share?
Yeah, I mean, kind of, I guess, a statement. I'm trying to read the book and do the start the diet. Issue is you know, with this, with all these issues with the parasites and everything. Like I said, I've been out of work since April, and I just recently they let me go. I was working at a shipyard. I was in an apprenticeship, which really sucks. I'm about halfway through, and this came out of nowhere. And it's just, I don't know. It's kind of mind-blowing how this stuff is going on. It's just kind of just under the radar. Tried to see that movie about it, the Morgellons, was it Skin Deep? And I couldn't see that.
What about the movie Skin Deep?
Yeah, I was trying to watch it. I ordered it, and for some reason it just would never play. I just thought it was weird.
Oh, you didn't really miss anything.
Really?
You know, the bottom line is there are a lot of people out there talking about Morgellons, and the Morgellons, the Charles Holman Association or Foundation are one of those people that talk about it, but they don't know much to do about it other than antibiotics, and that's their main push, which, okay, do them if you want to. Their own research says they don't work, and antibiotics, as I mentioned earlier, can be dangerous over long term and totally screw you up. So,
yeah.
But you didn't miss anything. There's no answers there other than antibiotics.
Well, that's why I left my primary care. One, he finally got to a point where I'm pretty sure he was just throwing medicine at me because, I mean, he just didn't really have much of a rhyme or reason. He really just, and he would try to avoid me because I think he just couldn't figure it out, so he'd just get pissed and be like, yeah, I'm not going to deal with this guy. But, I mean, they were giving me antibiotics left and right, doxycycline, and I was just, I mean, my wife was like, dude, you got to figure something out. I mean, I withered away there for a while. I dropped like 30 pounds in 2 weeks and just, it was tearing me all up. That's why I went to that other place. And, I mean, I still have a lot of issues with the itching and crawling and the lesions, but not like looking like I'm about to wither away here anymore, at least.
Well, you're here, and you've heard other people give testament to the value of the diet and that it works, and they're getting their lives back. And if they can do it, you can do it, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
So keep coming back. You know, the thing about this is we all do it together. Many people on the program are here for the first time. This is a working program. It helps you understand what it's about, and we're fortunate, very fortunate to have others who have been in the program for several months, sometimes a year, that have, you know, tuned in to get some tune up themselves and share their experience and how the program works for them. We're very blessed to have them tune in and share their experience because it provides insight and inspiration for the new people who, you know, oh, who the hell is this guy, Richard Tunes? What the hell does he know? I mean, he's just a silly old engineer. You know, what does he know? You know?
Yeah, I'm just, because like I did the questionnaire and, you know, you brought up some stuff or you pretty much brought to light a lot of stuff that makes a lot more sense with what I have going on, like in my springtails, stuff that no one ever brought up, or even I would have never thought about it, never known, and never knew what to do about it. So it had just been another sitting here, what the hell's going on, and being told I'm crazy again.
Well, that's important that you noted that, because there is no doctor, no physician, no entomologist, nobody from the Morgellons, the Charles Holman Association, nobody will ever tell you that there's a thing called springtails that can make life miserable for you and be as bad as Morgellons, if not worse. Nobody.
Terrible.
And they are there. They exist. And the research finds them. 19 species out of the 16,000 have an affinity for mankind. The most they will tell you is that, oh, well, they could be a temporary nuisance. You go home, you take a shower, and you wash them off. Like you walk through summertime and the no-see-ums start itching on your skin. You go home, you shower, and that's the end of it. They don't tell you that those no-see-ums can be carriers of springtails and that there are they don't tell you there are bird mites and rat mites and different. You know, there are 40,000 species of mites, and many of them can be carriers. They don't tell you that bed bugs are going to carry this stuff to you. They don't tell you carpet beetles. They don't inform you of the different vectors that bring these organisms to us. you know, typically if you're talking about Morgellons and Lyme disease, they say ticks is the main carrier. Yeah, maybe 1 out of 100 people questionnaire have ticks listed, but 99 don't. 99 have some kind of mite.
That's exactly what I told them when they were like, "You have Lyme disease. Do you remember being bit by a tick?" I said, "I haven't been bit by a tick since I was 6 years old or something." You know, I know that for a fact. And I mean, I live in the country, and that's something you pretty much check yourself for every day when you come back out in summertime. Because ticks, I mean, it's easy to get a tick, especially out here. So, but I had something like a wasp last summer. The bullseye thing that they say from Lyme disease wasn't even a tick.
So any of these organisms can bring these Morgellons, Lyme disease, springtails to you. Any of them can. Okay, thank you for keep coming back. We're here for you. You know, we're a small group, and that's fine. We're going to make a difference for those who come here.